Hey, how are you? This is Dawnna St. Louis, and we are continuing with Chapter 5 of the 6 Kick-Ass Strategies of the $1 Million Entrepreneur. Now, so far, just to catch you up a little bit, we've already talked about the first strategy, which was your focus strategy, how to make sure that you're focused on your business. And we went over quite a bit yesterday. Today, we're going to get through half of the money strategy. So we're going to try to get through half of that today, which should be all right. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Here is my quick recap. So yesterday we talked about this. Boom. Focus, right? And it was all about the focus of our business. And it was your expertise, what you had, your target market, who wanted it, and your offering. Not only how do you want to deliver it, but specifically, how does your target market want it? And we talked a little bit about how do we select a target market that actually wants to buy. Like, how do we pick that particular target market? We talked about that target markets are also made up of people first and then organizations, because a lot of people, when they talk about B2C, they always talk about selling to a company. And you're going to find out that when we start getting into this whole financial piece where we're talking about marketing, leads and opportunity, and sales, that it's less about the company and more about the person you're working with. And the one thing you want to think about, by the way, when you're talking to that person who is in your target market, when you're trying to sell to them, you want to ask yourself, well, who's responsible when things go wrong and what frustrates them? Because that's the most important thing that you can ask yourself. So, and you can ask them, why are they frustrated? Because your job is to go in, quite honestly, and solve their frustration. Notice that I did not say their challenge or their issue. Challenges are corporate, issues or organizational, and what you really want to get in there and start solving is you want to solve frustrations. People see frustrations as personal pains, and they will do anything to eradicate those personal pains. So if you're following along in the book, and you can get the book, by the way, at get6, which is the number 6ix.com, and you should see it also in the description. We are on page 35, and we are going to talk about strategy and how to increase your income. And this is all funding. This is the funding strategy, right? So that's what it looks like. That's what we're going to be talking about. Take a picture if you didn't get one. All right. So all about money. Let's go. No one gives 2 coitus cats in cake-covered kitty litter what you sell. They really don't. No one. Not even your mother. Unless you're selling Girl Scout cookies, because everybody likes Girl Scout cookies. What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie? I don't like Thin Mints because I think chocolate and mint should never go together. I think that is a sin. It should not happen. Chocolate does not go with mint, but all the other ones are really good. Otherwise, people simply care that you can solve their problem when they need you to solve it, and only in a way that makes it better off. Now, this is important. It's not. When I talk to people, they always tell me what they think their clients need. And what matters is that you can create the disease that your client wants to have corrected. So that's what's important. A lot of times people get this so screwed up in sales. You really have to identify that frustration, because once you identify that frustration, that's the disease. And your job is to have the medicine for that disease. Let's say, for example, that you wanted to buy a drill. Will it be a DeWalt, a Bosch, a Milwaukee? Before you can answer that question, you need to know why your customer wants to buy a drill. What problem does your drill solve? If you're using the drill to put a hole in something, then any of the above drills will do the job. And by the way, most people would say, if you want to buy a drill, then you want to put a hole in something, or you want to drill in a screw, right? That's 100% what they want. You want to put a hole in something. But wait a minute. What if you were doing something like decorative staging for a home's garage, and you need a drill to match the red, black, and white decor? See, there was an expectation by the person selling the drill that the people buying the drill wanted to put a hole in the wall or to screw something in faster. But what if that's not their challenge? See, we go in a lot of times with an assumption of what our customers want. And those assumptions could be wrong. What if the person is actually using it for something different, like this example? So in this example, then, a red Milwaukee would suit your needs better than DeWalt's yellow exterior or Bosch's blue hue. The Milwaukee delivers a solution the other drills don't. It matches your decor, right? There is an assumption in our head. If you're buying a drill, you must be putting a hole in the wall. That is the assumption whenever we're delivering our solution, that we already know what our customers' problems are. And because of that, we don't take the time to ask the right questions because we're already making that assumption. So if somebody was walking in buying a drill and they were at Home Depot, then the person would be like, well, do you want torque? Do you want longevity? Do you want warranty? And then the person would go, no, I want it to be red. Like, what? But there's an assumption that that our customer wants something, and we're trying to deliver the solution, talking about torque and the drill bits and everything else, and the longevity and the lifespan and the duration of the battery. And that's not even what your customer is looking for because you never bothered to ask what the frustration was. For example, this is my favorite one to say. I don't buy coffee. I don't. I buy a remedy that transforms me into a socially functional human being by 9 o'clock. The solution that you sell is more important than the product. Now let's turn your solution into profits. Most people would say that if you aren't making money, you have a hobby, not a business. I would dare to go a little further and say that you don't have a business until you can draw a trend line to future revenues. Until then, you are a contractor working to fill one contract after another. This is a lesson taught to me by a very surly accountant. When Alan and I, my business partner of BizIntel, inked our first BizIntel contract, we did what most entrepreneurs do. We gave ourselves lofty titles, purchased flamboyant business cards, and hired a good accountant to keep us out of an IRS-established penitentiary. Then we did the work of the contract. We thought we should get another contract before our first contract ran out. We were both pretty passionate about, not starving. In our minds, we were business owners. It wasn't until our accountant said, a business is defined by your intention to make money first. And since you cannot show a trend of intent, a strategy to get there, and the actions that you'll take to reach the goal, you are not business owners, you are contractors. I got a little attitude, by the way, when he said that. And I said, but we have business titles. Look at our business cards. I'm not kidding you. I did. I picked up my business card. It said Chief Operations Officer, and we had a contract for $4 million. And I was like, but we have business cards and titles and a contract. And he goes, yeah, great. He goes, those are nice. Show me what your future earnings will look like over the next 5 years, and I'll call you a business. Show me how your marketing efforts lead to new opportunities. Show me how those new opportunities turn into sales. You are predictive model gurus. You can literally predict the future of every business and every person on the planet except yourself. Until you can quantifiably show me that you have a future, you are contractors and not business owners. And with that, he slammed shut his black leather briefcase and left us standing dumbfounded, flamboyant business cards and all. The accountant, by the way, was right. Our core was strong. We had our focus nailed, but we weren't creating future revenues to have a business. It was almost 20 years later, and those words were echoing through time. I knew that if I wanted to avoid business famine again, then I had to get a grip on continuous income production. How many of us are there right now? We are hustling the street just to get the next contract. We are not going that I have, for example, not just my next retreat sold, but the retreat after that is filled up. We're constantly looking at how can we just get the next one instead of the next 4, the next 5, the next 8. We're not looking at how do we make sure that we reach our goals for the year. We're trying to make sure that we can make rent next month. This does not make you a business owner. It doesn't. I don't care what titles you put on LinkedIn. You're not a business owner. You do not have a business until you have a trend line. That was like the number one thing that I walked away with learning, that I had to have a trend line. Your income strategy, if worked properly, will stave off starvation, which is nice. It determines how an organization communicates offerings to its target market, how those communications translate into opportunities, and how those opportunities become sales. The income strategy ensures that you make money intentionally, that you have a trend line. And just like sit-ups leverage your core to transform your belly into six-pack abs, the income strategy leverages your core strategy by translating your expertise into profits and giving insights into your pitfalls when things get lost in translation. What's up, Mac? I'm glad you like it, babe. I was going to write planks instead of sit-ups, by the way, but I'm pretty sure that planks are God's way of telling us to stop working out. I hate planks. Just saying. I hate them. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your marketing. If there was ever a black hole of money and time wasted in business, it is in marketing. I know. I just pissed off every social media marketing person out there. Just hear me out before you get an attitude. Marketers may say that they cannot give you a quantifiable ROI percentage because blah, 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 right? We've all heard that. All that matters is that you cough up $5 kajillion for an entry-level social media package that guarantees nothing. You know you need marketing. You know you need it, but you don't know how to do it. So you negotiate from 5 kajillions to 3 kajillions. You give up a kidney and naming rights to your firstborn. All right. I need you to back away from the checkbook. Marketing is critical. So marketing people, come back to me. Marketing is critical. And yes, you must do it by testing, measuring, and determining how to improve. But make sure that before you go and do the tactics of marketing, that you have a strategy first. Then figure out if one of those social media mavericks can help you do it. Whether you hire a good marketing company to execute based on your strategy, or whether you get smart like Chris Dingham of the Dingham Group, it needs to be a priority. See, Chris Dingham relocates athletes worldwide and is proud to say that he has a $0 marketing budget. $0. Chris leverages relationships for marketing. No money required for a handshake. To create a decent marketing strategy, you need to understand what problems you solve, what frustrations you solve, why your target market wants your solution from a logical and emotional perspective, and how much value they put on your solution, or basically how much value they put on you killing that frustration that they have. So, logical justification. Let's talk about that one first. Logical justification is my favorite because most people will tell you that businesses, individuals, whomever, they make decisions based on logic, and that's not true. They justify decisions based on logic. They make decisions based on emotion. Not kidding you. And if you don't believe me, you can talk to just about any C-level executive that has what he thought was the perfect person in front of him doing the perfect job, and every answer was perfect, and there was something about that person that made that CEO's gut clench just a little bit, and he didn't pull the trigger on that person. That is an emotional decision. That has nothing to do with logic, because everything about the person, all the checks fit in the box, but something just wasn't right. A lot of C-level executives will tell you that when it comes down to it, they trust their gut. All right, so let's talk about logical justification. The primary point of marketing is, wait for it, not to sell a product, but rather to offer a solution. It's up to your marketing team to convey a solution in such a way that your target market will be compelled to move into action. People aren't normally compelled to buy based on logic. However, logic gives your target market a business case in which to justify the purchase. The two quantifiable justifications that cause people to buy are the reduction of pain and the increase of pleasure. Both can be summed up into 4 categories. Time. Too much time wasted is bad. Extra time and higher efficiency, well, that's good. Work. Too much work or hard work is bad. Easy work and high productivity is good. Money. High debt, empty pockets, and less money is bad. Lots of money, fat pockets, less debt or no debt is good. Quality. Unhealthy, unhappy, afraid, worse, less, all of that is bad. Healthy, happy, better, easier, and more, that's good. See, no matter how you cut it, they're either looking at the good or the bad, the reduction of pain and the increase of pleasure. But you really want to put them into 4 categories, and those categories are time, work, money, and quality. Regardless of the first 3 that you choose, being time, work, or money, they mean nothing if quality isn't increased. Quality is always required. Let me say that one more time. You always have to be a little better. But if you really want to kick ass, be a little better and be slightly different. That will really close your deal. Let's suppose that you work for a moving company. The owner is excited because a new fleet of trucks have shiny red side-loading doors. As far as you can tell, these new doors save you no time. They don't make your work easier, and you don't save or earn any money. They're just shiny red doors. Like, you don't care? Like, bruh, is that going to help me get this armoire in and out? Right? But what if I told you that the doors will make it easier for you to load and unload faster because they open wider and increase headroom? They will save you time and likely help you garner bigger tips due to the extra speedy service. Now those doors sound pretty damn good. An improvement of time, work, or money and quality is the solution that your customer is buying. They're not buying shiny red side-loading doors. When determining the solution you provide, it's critical to define the business case or the logical justification for the purchase, but not before you get buy-in from their emotions. So DJ said, I've experienced everything you're saying in the AV world. Absolutely, right? It's all about those 4 things. If you don't give them a justification of time, money, or work first, and then quality, they're not going to be interested. And that's one thing that people really have to remember. Those things are critical. Michael says, when we do, we learn how to be different. Can't wait. I know that's the secret sauce. That's right. Because it's your differentiator that makes everything. It's just like when I do my retreats. There's tons of people that do retreats for small to medium-sized businesses. And so people go, okay, that's great, but what's your differentiator? Here's my differentiator. Number 1, it's an experience. Number 2, besides being an experience, there's this ongoing accountability that not only means that you come and you write notes and you leave with something to do, but then we back you up with going, okay, how is that to do getting to done, right? In other words, you came, you spent money. How do we help you get your ROI? That is a huge differentiator because now people are going back going, oh, when you said that you expect us to get a 10 times ROI, you weren't kidding. You're saying, oh, if you spent $5,000, I expect you to earn 50. And so it is that constant ongoing accountability that makes the clients that come to my retreats go, I get why I'm going and why I'm going again, right? That's a huge differentiator because most people don't have that. Okay, so we talked about the logical justification. Let's talk about the emotional justification. Once you understand your target market's logical justification for your offering, you need to understand emotionally why they want it. Because remember, justification The logical justification is them saying, I can now justify this. I can now tell everybody why I did this and not just say because it felt good and it was Wednesday, right? Emotional triggers are very powerful and they outweigh logic. And I'm going to show you why. Okay, this isn't in the book. So that's the whole point of me doing this, because this is in a book and I want you to see some of the extra stuff. So take a look at this. So we have three parts of our brain. We have our thinking brain, our emotional brain, and our instinctive brain. So if I start with our instinctive brain, hey, Jessica, our instinctive brain is the thing that tells me to blink. It's the thing that makes sure that I'm breathing. It's the thing that makes sure my heart beating. I'm not thinking about how to make my heart beat. My heart is doing that. I'm not thinking about breathing. I'm just breathing. My lungs are making sure that happens. My diaphragm is moving upside down. If I had to think about all the things that my body had to do, I probably wouldn't be functioning, if you want to know the truth. So we work from the inside out, because we start here with our thinking brain, our intrinsic brain. But then we go over here to our thinking brain. Our thinking brain is on the outside. It is literally our neocortex, and it's where we make the decisions. I'll give you a really good example of how your thinking brain impacts your instinctive brain. So your reptilian brain, your instinctive brain can be impacted by your thinking brain. Have you ever gone to the doctor and they take the stethoscope and they put it on your chest and they tell you, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And you do it, right? You do the whole inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And you're literally thinking about breathing. And then when they tell you not to think about it anymore, your brain is still trying to manage that breathing. And so it takes you like a few seconds just to let your instinctive brain take back over and for you to breathe normally. It's usually not instant. It usually takes 2 or 3 seconds because your thinking brain is messing around with your instinctive brain. That's the problem. When you think about it too much, it kind of messes things up. So then there's this one in the middle. It's your emotional brain. So your emotional brain has no language, none at all. It just acts. And that's where you hear people say they made an impulse purchase, right? There wasn't any thought. It didn't go from I'm blinking, I'm seeing, I'm touching, I'm holding to let me think about it. It went, I'm thinking, I'm breathing, I'm touching, I'm holding, I have to have it. It was just an emotional instinct. It was just right there as an impulse decision. It was all based on emotion. What if you could get your clients to throw money at you based on emotion? That's what this is. An emotional justification for purchases. Believe it or not, just about everything that someone buys where they spent a little extra on it, it was because they made an emotional justification and not a logical one. Here's an example. So here's a list of emotional triggers followed by logical ones, and it's used every day by big advertising companies. So here are our emotional triggers. The first one is significance, also known as pride. It makes people think that they're better, right? That they want everyone else to be proud of them. They want people to see them as a certain type of person. They have to be seen as significant. Acceptance. Acceptance is also a little bit about envy. I want to have what other people have, even if that means having their approval. They need to have that. Greed. Greed is not just money, by the way. If y'all have ever gone out to lunch or dinner with anybody and they're like, I just need a little extra sauce. I need a little extra water. They get that third drink because it's free, not because they're thirsty, right? So that's the greed one. Instant gratification. You see these people standing outside in the middle of freaking fall, and it's cold outside, and they are getting that next iPhone, even though the one they have right now totally works, but they have to have it. They had to have it yesterday. They started placing the order. When they said you can order it 2 o'clock on Friday in July, they had already started. They were online placing that order because they had to be one of the first ones. These people have a true instant gratification addiction. They're a little lustful. They lust after things. The next one is dominance. Now, you know people like this. They don't have to just win. They want to annihilate. We find a lot of people, by the way, who are in sales that have this trigger. I ain't hating. I got it too. But they really want to not just compete. They don't want to compete. They want to win. They want to really win. Then we have opportunistic. People who are a little indulgent on opportunities. they're really running after them. They're a little gluttonous when it comes down to them. They're always looking for, how can I take advantage of the latest, the greatest, the best, that's who they are. And then the last one is simplicity. They want everything to be easier, better, faster, so they can do a whole lot more with a whole lot less. Now, these people, by the way, we usually see them right at the beginning of the year. They're like, oh, are you kidding me? There is a weight loss program that all I got to do is sit on my couch and eat cookies. That is absolutely perfect, right? They're looking for the easiest way to get out of everything. Sometimes they're even considered, people might look upon them and think they're a little lazy. So if that list looks familiar, it should, because these are the 7 deadly sins of marketing, sales, and influence. And smart salespeople figure out what their target market's top 2 triggers are, and then they leverage those top 2 triggers in order to get those people to do whatever it is that they want. Our most sinful desires get us emotionally charged, and we use that as our justification, or we use that as the reason for our purchase, and then we justify it using logic. That's what we do. What's up, John? And I'm going to prove it to you guys. All right. So people know if you're emotionally charged enough, by the way, you're going to logic will take a backseat in your decision-making process. People buy first with their heart and then with their head. And this is how you know it's true, because most of us have done this. I want you to think about that new car. Y'all know that the moment you take that car off the lot, it has lost every little piece of value. Like it is literally leaking money as it drives off the parking lot. So I want you to think about the last time that you saw a commercial about the latest model BMW on the road. You might have heard words like sexy, exciting, reliable, which translate into lust, and pride. You probably even saw a woman with long tan legs getting into the car, followed by a handsome gentleman closing her door. BMW has emotionally connected with you before even telling you how much it costs, because you think that girl comes with that car. Either that or you think you're going to look like that girl. Logically, you would never purchase a car because it is a piece of crap, poor investment. Cars lose their value the moment they leave the assembly line, and that value continues to plummet even as you sign the paperwork. Every customer purchasing a car is aware of this, and yet the purchase happens anyway because the consumer is emotionally connected to the color, to the new car smell, to how much longer and tanner their legs will look in an exciting new car. I mean, I had one guy telling me, like, girl, you look 10 pounds lighter getting out of that car. I mean, really, can you really have an ass like that? All of a sudden, I was this hotness getting out of a car, right? I ended up buying that BMW 6 Series, I'm just saying. All right, so and I'm going to tell you, I didn't lose a pound doing it. The money out of my wallet. The emotional connection of the BMW to the viewer, to the consumer, is undeniable. Robert, your legs won't look tanner for sure, but I bet your pocket will be lighter. The emotional connection of the BMW to the consumer is undeniable. If BMW advertisers have done their job, many viewers will desire that car. The logical connection, however, ensures that the only target market they're trying to reach will get it. If the viewer has $60,000 hanging around, then they know a BMW 4 Series is an option. But if $60,000 sounds more like a mortgage payment than a car payment, then the viewer will consider alternatives in their price point. While the emotional connection creates inclusivity and gets everyone interested, logic, the price, creates exclusivity and cuts away those who can't afford it. It is BMW's way of ensuring that only those who can afford it make an effort to enter their private club. Remember we talked about private clubs before? This is so important because people get this one wrong a lot. We always think that our price is something that makes people more inclusive, and it doesn't. Price is a way of marking people out. It's a way of being exclusive. So a lot of people go, well, if I lower the price, then I'm going to get more people. Not necessarily. And I'll use this as an example. So if anyone's ever seen me on stage, they know that I have an addiction to shoes. Like, it's a thing. And when I buy my shoes, they might have really, really high heels, which they do. And they might look really, really hot. And they look like they cost a lot of money, which they probably do. But they're also really, really comfortable. So I do spend a good amount of money on my shoes because I want, number one, the emotional connection, which I always buy into. But beyond that, they have to have a significant amount of comfort. Then the dollar value doesn't really matter. If they're not comfortable, I simply won't buy them. Now, I will tell you that if a shoe cost $1, I ain't gonna get it. See, while you think that lowering that price point created inclusivity, in me, it did not. It created fear. I'm like, that shoe is going to break the moment I step on the first step to get up on stage. That shoe is going to break before I get out of the house. Why? Because people think if they lower the price point, that all of a sudden, everybody's going to want them. No, a lower price point can actually repel your target market. If I told you that I could help you make $1 million, or I'm going to give you $1 million worth of content, and I'm only going to charge you $5 for it, you're really going to start questioning if my content is worth $1 million, right? Your price has to really be in line with who your target market is and who you're trying to exclude on both sides. That's right, on both sides. Dropping your price does not necessarily get you more business, contrary to what you may believe. Sometimes people will look at that extremely low price point and they'll think, no, there's something wrong with that. I'm sorry, I'm not buying a T-bone steak for $1. I really think there's something wrong with it. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do for today. Tomorrow we'll finish the next half of this chapter. So I didn't want to go as long because yesterday I went long. I went 45 minutes. I'm not trying to do that. So tomorrow I'll finish this chapter. It's only 5 more pages. We'll talk about understanding your value, when marketing really, really works. And then we'll talk about leads and sales, how to do the edge of sale, and then the different types of buyers that you have. After that, we're going to be on to our third strategy, which is how to optimize your operations. Anyway, I hope you guys had fun. Please do me a favor and make sure that you share this video. So if you're watching, if you commented, just hit the share button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to follow along tomorrow, if you want to follow along, get the book. It's at get6ix.com, and it's available on Kindle, I'm pretty sure. And I look forward to seeing you guys. And if you want to know more, by the way, about the retreats, you want to apply to come to a retreat, it's only open to 10 people. Send me a private message and I'll let you know more about the retreats. Anyway, I will talk to you later. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.